Hello there and welcome to another Speedieclark production. I hope you're all well and had a good week. So it's Friday today. We're already finished the first week of November. So whoa, this year has just been a blur. So talking about this year, I would like to recap. Now obviously we've still got, you know, a good chunk of November to go and then into December, but my year is pretty much finished now in terms of cycling activity, with the exception of starting the winter training program. So I just want to give you guys all a summary of how this year's been for me, the highs, the lows, the unfortunate situations, how I've overcome them, and how you can all learn from what I've experienced this year, and have some positivity towards events that you find are spiraling out of your control. So the main goal for me for 2018 was to redeem the John O'Groats to Land's End relay record, which although myself and 3 other teammates from Team Blanco Enduro performed exceptionally well in 2017, because of the immense headwind, which averages speed of 27 miles an hour over the 874 miles, you know, that seriously cut into us and was brutal. So although for the format that we were riding the record on, which is standard UCI legal road bikes, no aerodynamic head fairing, no tri-bar setup, no slipstreaming, one rider out on the road at any one time, hence individual relay record. Now I know I've discussed this a lot this year, but you know, just to put it all into context and a final closure to this chapter, then we weren't happy with our time in 2017, albeit it was a record in the riding format I've just mentioned. We did 52 hours and we planned to do 48. So it was back to the drawing board. The team was like, yeah, let's go again. We knew we could do it. We knew we were capable of doing it. You know, I knew physically I could probably empty the tank a little bit more and adopt a slightly different training structure program for climbing ability. Because I was doing, because I'm Scottish, as you know, and live in Scotland, the other team members are not from this area, they don't know, and there's a lot of complexity when you come down the A9 from, you know, John O'Groats to, once you hit past Inverness and then get to Perth, coming from Perth down through Edinburgh and then getting onto the main roads past Carlisle, there's a lot of messing around, and you know, a wrong turn could cost time. So in a nutshell, I rode quite a long leg from Perth past where I live, heading out on the main road that follows to Abington Services. I then changed over one of the team riders, Ollie, and then Carl went out, and then I went back on again at Carlisle because I'm from near that area and you have to ride through Carlisle, so I took us through Carlisle, got us onto the A6. So I did quite a long stint, and the fatigue levels were in quite high. So for 2018 we absolutely smashed it. You know, I was in physically very good form. Everything just came together. We didn't have this mass headwind, although we didn't have any major tailwind to propel us along. You know, we didn't have the headwind preventing us, so we absolutely blitzed it. 43 hours 46 minutes this year, and that was my ultimate goal. But because of you know, how I work and my career, family life, etc., and the the condensed hard training, because I don't have the luxury of being able to spend a lot of hours training. The training I do is very, very intense, and the time frame that I can spend each week doing that, given the endurance events I do, it is quite remarkable how my coach can make it work and make my body work like that through the training adaptation. So big thanks to Expresso Cycle Coaching. So as I say, the John O'Groats to Land's End relay record was the main goal for me this year in completion. However, I did get greedy and I wanted to do other things. So cutting back a little bit to the beginning of 2018, I did the Strathpuffer 24-hour mountain bike race as a pair this year, whereas previous years it had been as a quad team. But on 2 of the years running as a quad team, one of the team members unfortunately had to pull out on each occasion, leaving us only 3. So we were at a disadvantage with that. This year it was myself and my good friend Mark. We went in as a pair and we did pretty well. The conditions were brutal. I'll put the link in the description so you can watch that film. I do treat it as fun, and you may think 24-hour mountain bike racing, Inverness, snow, -8, fun. But yeah, for me that is fun. I don't take it too seriously. Well, that's a bit of a lie. I do take it seriously, but I wasn't concerned about the amount of laps you're riding. I just wanted to go experience the extreme weather, the course, the phenomenal conditions, which were extreme in terms of making it hard, but phenomenal in terms of good positivity, because it was such a beautiful event. The scenery this year was epic with the snow and the ice, and it was just such a nice environment. Hard, but such a nice environment to ride in, and I feel really, really privileged to be part of that this year. And it was great doing the event with my mate Mark, and it was his first time doing the event, and I think he absolutely loved it. So for me to see him getting the buzz off doing that event actually made me pretty happy too. So really, really happy with that, because these things are not easy, and because I'm quite competitive, I can sometimes be hard work. You know, it's good to be objective about yourself, but I can be hard work and maybe expect a little too much from people. But it's to get a job done, you know, and I really appreciate people's patience with me, because when I'm in the zone, you know, I can be very demanding, very abrupt. It's not a personal thing. It's not that I mean it. I appreciate the support everyone gives me, and I think very fondly of everyone that's my friend and helps out, and family members. But it's just the way I deal with pressure and get myself ready for an environment which is actually very extreme and very tough, and essentially things that actually physically hurt me. And it's but it's what I choose to do, but it's how I deal with it, because I like the aftermath and the endorphins you get from completing challenges like that. So everyone's different, but that's what floats my boat. So there we go. So we did the Strathpuffer 24-hour, and then focused on after a hard winter training, and the 24-hour was part of my training. Sleep deprivation training, riding a bike in really extreme harsh conditions, off-road, using the awesome Giant Trans 27.5 mountain bike. And then once all that was completed, it was cracking on with the road events, and then training for the major objective of this entire year, which is John O'Groats to Land's End. And although we did that on the 27th of April, everything was geared up to that for me to finish on the edge, and I did. So the way my coach Gary Hand from Expresso Cycle Coaching and I planned the record in was for me to be able to do longer stints and to do more frequent stints, because of the climbing, and I'm a good climber, and I can time trial well, so there's a mixed bag. However, on this occasion I slimmed down, so I did take away some of my time trialing ability in order to be able to climb better, but to sustain a better average speed over the undulations in Scotland, and then heading down into England, and then the final last stint where I performed the last 9.7 miles. And you might think only 9.7 miles, but after 48 hours of not sleeping, and doing long legs, and basically riding a time trial every single time I was going out on the road, to then be able to do that last final 9.7 miles, which part of the route is used for a national hill climb event, and finish in the top 20 on Strava on the hill climb route after not sleeping for 48 hours and after from riding 874 miles, albeit as a relay, but after riding a significant amount of mileage, then I thought that was pretty impressive. So I was really very happy with that. I did finish the event on my knees. It was the ultimate high. Everyone congratulated each other. None of us could have done it individually. We all played a vital part in the team role. Carol, amazing. Ollie, amazing. Andy, amazing. Everybody just amazing. The support team, my father, Norma coming on board, massage, Doug, Phil, Chris Biermank for filming, my good mate Mark for coming on board yet again and giving up his holiday time to support an amazing record. All the sponsors, my coach, Kaliva Energy Products, David Lyons from Expresso Cycle Coaching for support and providing the camper van, Carol for using his actual own vehicle for the support vehicle, which did take quite a battering. Sorry, Carl, thank you very much. Audi A6, the ultimate vehicle. It's built like a tank, and it goes very well in second and third gear for 874 miles. So awesome, Carl. I hope the damage wasn't too bad. The Audi certainly did exceptionally well. So very, very good. We won't disclose what happened on the speed bumps and in Carlisle when you were in the other vehicle, but the car's good, so that's all right. So anyway, it's been a phenomenal year, but I couldn't leave it there. So my season actually started very early, so already by the end of April into May, I'd already been fairly battering myself. I wasn't happy with that, so then I bulked up a bit, got my time trialing ability. When I say back, it wasn't fully back, but started to progress that. Was doing a number of time trials, but for some reason the weather just didn't play ball, and every time I was riding a time trial it was so wet, windy, cold, and I was feeling a bit odd and a bit off until eventually when I rode the national 100-mile time trial in July, I caved in at the end of it. My body had had enough. I dropped down dramatically, and as you'll have seen from my previous films and know, I got a horrible viral infection, suffered from post-viral fatigue. I was off training for 9 weeks, bedridden almost. When I say bedridden, I basically was lying down like this pretty much for 5 weeks. I had to take time off work. I couldn't do any activities with my family. It was a terrible position to be in. And I didn't actually start riding and coming back to training until September. But mid to late September rather. So had an awesome family holiday to Lorette de Mar and then got back into it. So this is a taper week for me. I've just finished my first 4 weeks back into training. Now this is actually me kicking into winter training now. So I had my break when I was off with post-viral fatigue. And then once I felt like I was recovered and I was back to work, I still had another 2 weeks off the bike, and the week in Lorette de Mar, which was fantastic, nice family holiday to come back refreshed. Ironically, I hadn't really put on any weight because the viral infection really stripped me down and caused a lot of issues. And the weird thing is, coming back into training, I've seen me have a couple of weeks off at the end of the season previously and feel terrible coming back into it, but this time I was so G'd up and raring to go. I haven't noticed, don't get me wrong, I wasn't as fast and as quick as I was previously, but it didn't feel terrible and it didn't feel anywhere near as uncomfortable as I thought it would be. So that was pretty good, but I am lacking in some power. So going to build back up the winter. I've got the Strath Puffer again in 2019 as a quad team, and yet again Mark's on board. So brilliant, Mark, thank you once again. You're back for more punishment, which is amazing. Really appreciate that, and it'll be great to ride the event with you again. and there is potentially 2 more records in the pipeline for next year. Now, I can't go into too much detail about them because things need to be finalised, so you will have to wait a little bit further down the line before Team Blanco Enduro get everything together and then actually say what we're going to go for. But there's another 2 records, big endurance long distance records, one involving being in another country. So we aim to be doing these round about May next year, then the second one in September. So I'm going to have Strathpuff a 24-hour, potentially another endurance record in May, and then a further endurance record round about end August, September. And that will probably be the season, because I'll have to peak, drop, recover, peak, drop, recover, peak, and then recover, and then back into winter training for whatever 2020 brings. Wow, 2020, can't believe I'm saying that. So yeah, so we'll see what happens. We will see what happens. The records next year have not been confirmed, but if you guys know me and know Team Blanco Enduro, when 9 times out of 10 when we say we're going to do something or even plan something or think that'll be a good idea, we usually end up doing it and going for it. So really looking forward to that. I'm really pleased to be continuing to work with Expresso Cycle Coaching, riding with Team Blanco Enduro, which is almost like a joint partnership team. NGIG Massage Therapies, Norma Gray, continuing to keep me fixed and mobile, especially at being now 40 years old. So thank you, Norma. And the great support from my family, friends who give up their holidays and times to help come do these crazy events with us and support us and keep us feeded. So really appreciate that all. So the year is pretty much over for me. There is one more epic thing coming, and there will be some cycling in it, but the ultimate thing is actually I will be driving my Ford Transit Custom camper van conversion from Scotland to Poland. So that's going to be an epic journey, and it's going to be in December, which is going to make it even more challenging because the vehicle is not 4-wheel drive. It will be fitted with winter tyres. I need to get it really kitted up. So that's going to be a real challenge, taking the family and my dog and the bike. So that is going to be pretty epic, so check out the film on that. So just thought I'd give you all a bit of an update as to how this year's went for me. There was a low point when I was ill, because to be honest, when the illness was at its worst and it stripped me down to 59 kilo, and I'm 5'9", and bearing in mind being at like 59 kilo, there was virtually everything had eaten away. I was a bit concerned. I was really worried, and I honestly didn't think I would be back on the bike or even back to work this year, if I'm being brutally honest. I didn't really disclose that information to many people, but there were some underlying concerns because I just didn't seem to be recovering and healing. And then when I thought I was on the mend, I had a really bad case of physical sickness and I seemed to drop down again. But we've recovered okay, and we've came back well. And it's also a top tip of you do need to take a break. We're not robots. So thank you very much for watching. Take care. See you soon, and ciao.